Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this: why Ryan Gravenberch is not in Liverpool's Community Shield squad. Ryan Gravenberch was a notable absentee from Liverpool's matchday squad for the Community Shield on Sunday, with Arne Slot revealing the reason for his absence. The Dutchman was among the first names on the team sheet last season for Liverpool, but misses out on Sunday's Community Shield due to personal reasons. He and his partner, Cindy Perotti, were expecting a daughter, and Slot revealed prior to kickoff against Crystal Palace that he became a dad last night, Saturday. In his place, Dominic Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones start at the base of midfield, with Alexis Mac Allister starting from the bench after Slot explained he is not fit enough for 90 minutes. Gravenberch's absence means we will not see him on the pitch until the trip to Newcastle in the second Premier League match of the new season on August 25th. He will serve a one-match suspension against Bournemouth on Friday after being shown a red card in the final game against the Eagles last season. With the punishment carrying over to 2025-26, Liverpool's number 38 was not the only notable absentee from Sunday's squad, with Kostas Tsimikas left out of the 20-man squad. This is Anfield understands Tsimikas' absence comes with widespread interest in a transfer, including from Premier League side Nottingham Forest. Milos Kerkez instead starts at left back with Andy Robertson taking up a place on the bench, with starts for fellow new signings Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, and Jeremy Frimpong. Second news is this: Guehi leads Crystal Palace at Wembley. Marc Guehi will wear the captain's armband for Crystal Palace in today's Community Shield against Liverpool at Wembley Stadium. Palace boss Oliver Glasner confirmed the decision, underlining the England international's leadership role despite continued speculation over his future. Palace face Liverpool after lifting the FA Cup in May, while the Reds enter the contest as Premier League champions under Arne Slot. With Guehi entering the final year of his contract at Selhurst Park, his performance under the Wembley arch could further intensify interest from Merseyside. Liverpool monitor situation closely. Liverpool, as recruitment team, have maintained a watching brief over Guehi this summer, with the club seeking defensive reinforcements following an injury to Joe Gomez. While no formal bid has been lodged, the 23-year-old is viewed as a potential target, should other pursuits stall. Palace, however, are in no rush to sell. Sources suggest a valuation of around $40 million, with the club preferring to keep their captain beyond the current window. Guehi, meanwhile, is not actively pushing for a move, though Liverpool is understood to be his preferred destination, were a transfer to arise. Glasner addresses contract uncertainty. Speaking ahead of the Community Shield, Glasner was asked directly about Guehi's future. "You have to ask Marc," the Palace manager said. "In the end, it's always the player's decision. Of course, everybody here would like him to sign a new contract, but it's his choice. In this market, we never know what will happen." The Austrian also confirmed that Ebereki Eze, another player attracting top-flight interest, will feature against Liverpool. Both Eze and Guehi remain central to Palace's immediate plans, despite growing speculation in the final weeks of the window. Potential fit for Liverpool's defensive needs. Liverpool's defensive depth has been tested in pre-season, with only Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate fully fit among senior center-backs. While Wataru Endo and Ryan Gravenberch can provide emergency cover, Arne Slot is understood to favor a specialist addition. With Newcastle also credited with interest, Liverpool's approach appears more patient, likely assessing whether Palace soften their stance closer to the warned September deadline. Should negotiations for other targets prove challenging, Guehi could emerge as a late-window opportunity. Palace's FA Cup triumph and Guehi's elevation to captaincy underline his growing influence in South London, Whether that authority continues beyond the summer will depend on how the final weeks of the market unfold and whether Liverpool choose to test Palace's resolve. Third news is this. Kostas Tsimikas' absence explained as Liverpool transfer, interest grows. Kostas Tsimikas is edging nearer a Liverpool exit after being left out of the squad for the Community Shield clash against Crystal Palace. Tsimikas was not part of the traveling party that made the trip to Wembley for the traditional curtain raiser to the new campaign between the Premier League champions and FA Cup winners on Sunday afternoon. The Greek international featured regularly throughout the preseason program under Arne Slot at both left-back and centre-back. But with Liverpool already having $40 million new man Milos Kerkez and experienced Andy Robertson as options on the left side of the defense, the Reds are willing to allow Tsimikas to depart after almost 5 years at the club. Nottingham Forest were interested in Tsimikas earlier in the summer with owner Evangelos Marinakis, a compatriot of the player, understood to be keen on his. Signing promoted Leeds United have also been linked with the 29-year-old, with a number of other clubs from the Premier League and overseas also expressing an interest. Liverpool, though, will only consider a permanent exit for Tsimikas and will not entertain any loan offers. The Reds have been expected to trim their left-back options following the arrival of Kerkez in June, with Robertson a target for Atletico Madrid earlier in the transfer window before the Spanish side trained their sights elsewhere. Liverpool took another step in overhauling their squad on Saturday evening, when Darwin Núñez completed a move to Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal for a potential 56 cimers. It means the Reds could ultimately make more than 200 millimeters from sales this summer. Fourth news is this. Ryan Gravenberch absence explained as Liverpool missing. 4 players versus Crystal Palace. Ryan Gravenberch and Kostas Tsimikas are both surprise absentees for Liverpool as the Reds prepare to kick off the new season at Wembley today. Arne Slot's side takes on Crystal Palace as the Premier League champions face the FA Cup holders for the first piece of silverware in the 2025-26 campaign, after a busy summer in which it has spent nearly $400 million in the transfer market. Liverpool will be aiming to lay down an early marker and send a message to the likes of Manchester City and Arsenal before the new league season gets underway in just 5 days. As expected, the Reds are without the injured Connor Bradley and Joe Gomez, with the pair having picked up injuries during preseason. What wasn't expected, though, were the absences of Gravenberch and Tsimikas, with the duo having not traveled with the rest of their teammates for today's game. The former had been expected to be involved, despite carrying a suspension after receiving a red card in Liverpool's final game of the 2024-25 season. Coincidentally, against Palace, Gravenberch would have been available for the clash at Wembley, with his ban only in force in the Premier League, although the midfielder will have to wait a little longer now for his first appearance of the new season. The Dutch international misses out after his partner gave birth to their first child on Friday, with Slot confirming the news when he spoke at Wembley ahead of the game. As for Tsimikas, the left-back is understood to have been left out amid increasing interest over a permanent transfer away from Anfield. Nottingham Forest is among the teams thought to be keen, but it is by no means alone in that. While Liverpool has 4 players missing at Wembley, the Reds do have some big players returning, most notably Virgil van Dijk and Alisson Becker, both of whom missed the friendlies against Athletic Club at Anfield. Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, and Jeremy Frimpong all make their competitive debuts for Liverpool meanwhile, as they look to nail down their spots in Slot's side ahead of Friday's Premier League opener against Bournemouth. Why Liverpool fans boo, God save. The King national anthem explained ahead of Community Shield. Liverpool are back at Wembley Stadium this afternoon for yet another cup final. This time the Community Shield is up for grabs with Crystal Palace providing the opposition. The Reds enter the fixture as the Premier League champions and will face Palace by virtue of their FA Cup win over Manchester City last season. While arguably not the biggest trophy of the campaign, the Community Shield often involves the same pageantry as is expected of other cup finals, including the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. As such, the national anthem of God Save the King, or previously God Save the Queen, will be played before the fixture. In all likelihood, the anthem will be met with a frosty reception by those adorning red on Wembley Way this weekend. It is fully expected that, if played, Liverpool fans will choose to boo the anthem. Reasoning behind this decision is complex, but often dates back to the 1980s. During Margaret Thatcher's Conservative government, Liverpool perceived that their city was on the receiving end of a managed decline. When the Hillsborough disaster occurred in 1989, this theory was seen to hold further weight due to the state's mishandling and misreporting of what happened that fateful day. Since then, boos for the national anthem have become more and more common. This mistrust of the state continues into the present day. Food banks outside Anfield and Goodison Park last season are seen as reminders that the city is overlooked by the government in Westminster. Many Liverpudlians on the red half of the city also subscribe to the Scouse not English model of thinking. Many Liverpool fans therefore choose not to support the English national team in major tournaments, even when the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Steven Gerrard were representing them. Recently, Liverpool felt they were placed in an impossible position when the Premier League strongly advised them to play the national anthem before the Premier League clash against Brentford to mark King Charles III's coronation. Most of Anfield would proceed to boo the anthem as it was played before kickoff. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.